I don't think Mio's convincing, and I think the idea that he makes good arguments is actually.
So what's your response to Little Timmy then?
What's your response to Little Timmy? Bully him harder. Fucking beat the shit out of him. Fuck Little Timmy. It's
Well,
like to me the Little Timmy scenario is fucking ridiculous because I'm a white kid who grew up in
you're not white. Again, I really think that we need to close the borders. I don't think we need any more immigrants in here. And I think that would go a long way. I mean, Trump literally won an entire election in, like, he was the worst possible candidate you could ever find, that he was able to win just on build the wall. That's how much it's freaking people out, and it's freaking a lot of people out.
Okay, so we have a labor shortage right now. I think
AI will take care of that. AI will take care of that.
Who will take care of it?
AI.
You think that if we were to shut off the borders, AI now would be able to be a solution for our labor shortage?
No,
okay,
not right now.
so
Not right
you don't want. So you want to close the borders eventually? Don't close the borders right now, then. Stream. You should have seen the fucking chat log messages I've been sent from like the fucking inside the community, or like the type of people the community foster. Because like as a content creator, what would be the purpose of me going on Politically Provoked from a growth perspective when everyone in the community seems to be fostered like far right people? It's not like if I go in there and say, hey, gay people are actually cool, like I'm gonna grow it all. There's like no incentive, and definitely if it's moderated poorly and it's just a mud wrestling show, like I don't know.
Dude,
why
people would
watch.
use that exact same logic when it came to me helping you out with your shit. Maybe get over yourself a little bit.
Get over my CTV. Let me say
yeah,
this,
dude.
okay?
Because seriously, like
CTV?
all it should be about
CTV?
is just growing total community. That way, there's more people
Total
paying
community.
attention.
The problem is CTV. Who, when we talk about Politically Provoked, okay, who is in that audience that I would value being in my audience?
It shouldn't matter.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't
matter.
want people in my chat telling me, "Hey, queer, kill yourself." I don't need that. I don't want.
Well, that's where you just ban those fucking chatters.
Yeah,
maybe
but
they want to be a viewer.
You know what I should do? I should.
Maybe they want to sit there and soy out on all your takes.
What I need to do is I need to go into the politically. I need to do what fucking Schlatt did with the Minecrafters in his community. I need to get a bot that anytime anyone subs to Politically Provoked's fucking Twitch channel, it just automatically bans them in my chat. Just no questions asked. And if they're gifted a sub, they're just gonna have to request an unban.
I mean, maybe they want to gift you a sub, bro, because they want to soy out on all your takes.
Or you could use the argument, then you want to change those views and get your own content out of it. Yeah, but the problem is, Brittany, is that I can't make my argument because if somebody talks over me, you're not gonna do shit, right? So that's the problem. So like, what do I get out of it?
I mean, to me, Politically Provoked was always a blood sports platform, from my perspective. Which, you know, is fine. People could do whatever they want. It's up to them. But
blood sports is fine, in my opinion, if it's properly moderated. But blood sports without moderation is just a drunken brawl. It's sad. It's something that has no real like growth incentive. There's no reason for me to participate.
Yeah, and the only one that's been able to hold the same type of control of the language they use while they're drunk and still be here on the platform is CTV.
Amen.
Yeah. Let's be real about that for a minute. I was like 16 sheets past being in the fucking wind. Collapsed on my fucking floor, right? Still didn't break TOS.
Anyway, come on, fight some more.
I mean, I'll even go this far.
There's your loading.
There was a white nationalist I debated like 6 months ago, that wants to debate me again. And when I debated him the first time, it was like a really successful video. I think it got like 80,000, 90,000 views, right? For me, that's pretty good. And I was like, yeah, I'll debate you again, because I did very well. I'm willing to debate the person again. I don't think they're going to bring any new arguments to the table. It was on like, well, is being gay okay or something? It was like something very basic. And the person said, I'll do it if we do it on Politically Provoked. And I literally was just like, okay, no, never mind. And that was it. Like, I was willing to let go like 90 to 80,000 views just to not go through watching Brittany do the job of a cardboard cutout while we have a conversation.
Oof, damn, Brittany's having some shade thrown at her. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Brittany, I have a policy. If people are chatting shit about you, can come on and defend yourself. It's up to you. Don't want to put pressure on you on Christmas Day, but the offer's there.
I mean, and it's not. I don't think Brittany's like Hitler or something. I mean, I feel like she's like at least like a little bit less right wing than Hitler. I think.
I appreciate the fact that she doesn't have a little mustache.
A few steps away. Okay.
I mean, she's got the aesthetic of like, you know, one of those old school like Nazi women, right? Like, you know, look back at those old photos, Aryan women. That's why they like her so much. They're like, you know, yes, Aryan, excellent.
A little bit. Maybe it's a personal resentment thing. You know, my mom was blonde, and I had parental problems. Maybe she's blonde. Maybe that's that. Maybe who knows? It could be anything.
But yeah. Listen, I appreciate it's Christmas, but what better time to celebrate drama than Christmas, you know? I just watched a fucking 2-hour debate about some pedo shit.
Send Hook up with him, though. Amen. Forever Wild. Amen. Send Hook. Oh, wait. No, that's the fucking... Damn. They were saying a meme, I thought. Never mind. Fuck you, Forever. I thought you were saying a cool meme. You didn't. You were just being a normie. Sorry. Saw you're doing an AEW meme. Do we have any AEW fans in chat? Do you know what AEW is, Chud?
Some wrestling fucking nerd shit, right?
Yeah, fucking old boring man.
Wait, what? How am I an old boring man for saying that? What do you mean?
Well, because you're not with AEW? Yeah, it's not hip. Okay, you're not hip.
Yeah, sorry, I'm too busy having sex to worry about that.
Are you? Are you too busy having sex?
Nah, actually, I'm not really.
I hope it's not with people from Discord, huh? Sorry.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. No, actually, to be honest, like I'm on the Sigma grind set at the moment. Like, if a woman came to me and was like, "Please, Chud, let's have sex," I'd be like, "Well, first of all, let me check your ID. Let's get that out of the way first. Obviously, I've got a history there. And secondly, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm streaming."
Yeah.
Well, first you gotta check ID. You gotta ask, you know, can you get pregnant? I think that's a good question to ask
please.
right off the start.
Oh God! Just don't talk about pussies, please, CTV. Whenever you talk about pussies, honestly, I worry about it. Okay.
Hey, look, we got one friend in chat, Blizza. Thank you. You're cool. You're the only one in this chat worth saving. Okay. If the rapture happened, I had to pick one person from chat. It'd be you and Zonia. Oh, actually, I guess you. Sorry, Zonia. You don't watch AEW. Oh, Pablo too. Okay, I guess the two of you.
AEW, it's a wrestling thing, okay?
Yep, I'm a huge wrestling fan.
So why are you concerned whenever I start?
Let me put it this way: I spent $1,500 on a pair of wrestlers' pants that were signed by them that they used in a very important match. Like I'm very into it.
Right, I'll get to you. I'll respond to you, CTV. So I just want to say, Brittany, look. I've had many women in my life tell me to stop playing video games and pay attention to them. Every single one of them has fucked me over, okay? So I'm never stopping playing video games for women again. It is what it is. Amen. Now, in response to CTV, you've made some comments about, you know, women's body parts. Look, I'm not like offended by it. It's just you say some stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a bit weird, champ. That's all.
CTV knows how to ride the line fine enough that I don't have to call him out, but I get uncomfortable.
It's a very fine line to ride.
It is.
Right. Brittany, you're getting added. Let's go.
Wonderful.
Let's go! Now we're talking.
I guess I got another YouTube video, okay?
Yeah!
Jeez fucking Christ, how long does it take to freaking answer me?
Sorry, I'm busy.
You coming in first thing complaining, hashtag why are women?
Don't let us bring the misogyny out, okay?
Jesus.
Bring it all out. Let's let it all out.
You know, I'm not surprised that Brittany's all about letting it all out.
Oh, please, come on. Listen, I've got to offer some defense to, you know, come on now. Right, go on, Brittany.
Brittany
what you
likes to play. Look, y'all need to get to know Brittany. Brittany likes to play hard, okay? That's all I'm saying.
For fuck's sake. Right, Brittany, go on. What you got to say?
Oh, you were the one who told me to come on here.
Yeah, because I thought you were going to argue with Dylan. It would be good content. Like, you know, let's go.
I don't really have much art. I mean, a lot of the stuff he's saying is true. So, there's not really much.
Like always.
Well, fucking Chud the farmer.
No, it's true.
Wait, you told me to shut the fuck up? Oh my god! First time ever she told somebody to shut up! Congratulations!
Here we go. Fuck off. Okay, yeah. Well,
You know, we're breaking new ground.
In my defense, though, the program we were using, StreamYard, like, if you try to mute somebody, they are able to unmute themselves. They know that trick. They're not able to do that. We did switch to a new program, Restream, which I'm able to mute people, and they can't do that, so that's pretty cool. But most of these guys, they don't fucking listen to me. So even when I try to moderate, like, they don't listen very well. So I kind of just like step back and let people do their thing. And we did get a new moderator because it was like hard for me to kind of do everything at once. But we did get a new moderator. And another thing that we do, because what we do that's different than a lot of these other platforms is anybody that's interested in coming on, we do a standard interview with them and we'll get their positions on all these issues, the topics that they're interested in debating. And then we have like a library of debaters. So people can kind of go through and match themselves up, or if we match them up, they could go look at their interview and see who they're debating. Because you don't have to be a content creator. You don't have to have anything out there or any name or whatever. As long as you're interested in debates, we're down. So we have that, and one of the questions that we have started asking is if the person is okay with blood sports or if they are not. So we'll put them down for one or the other. If they are not okay with blood sports and we match them up with somebody who is, we can then know to be a little bit more hands-on. But if they are both okay with blood sports, we'll be hands-off, and that's just kind of what it is.
So let me ask you a question. So the thing is, a platform will never ever be able to truly make up for the fact that somebody's a bad moderator. And so if people don't respect you and your moderation style or respect your authority, then they're never going to listen to you. So what you need to be, okay, what was it?
Well, in my defense, though, most of these guys don't really have a lot of respect for women as it is. So that I don't think that's gonna really work in general. Like, no matter what I would do, it's gonna be a different dynamic.
Does that not bother you that these people you're bringing on, like, literally think you're probably subhuman? Does that not bother you at all?
They don't think I'm subhuman. They just think they're better.
You deserve less rights. Yeah.
Yeah. They think you don't deserve rights, that you're less than them. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, sure.
The thing is, though, Brittany, and this would be what I would say, is that this is a problem of the company you keep, and whether somebody wants to respect you, you need to make them respect your authority, right? Because this, can I? This is a really this might okay. Maybe I shouldn't make this comparison because Shed will get angry at me. Due to my earlier Irish comments, apparently it's a very sensitive issue for the man. So I'll just make a different comparison. So let's say that a people don't respect the authority of a government. The government needs to do something in order to make the people respect that authority. There's a lot of options made available. You can like give them money, you can fucking give them social programs, you can do something that they like, or, and this is an option I advocate for here, you can use brute force. And so let's say somebody doesn't respect you, they're like, I don't know, I'm not gonna shut up. Just end the debate. You're kicked off my platform. Fuck you. Right? And I've done that a few times. I've done that to Mike from PA, and Mike from PA doesn't come back as a guest. I've done that to other people before. But what that means is moving forward, my job got 10 times easier because people knew that that was an option I was willing to use on the table. And the more people I mute, the less people felt called out for being muted. Because if you muted someone, Brittany, I would be like, oh my God, this person must literally be Hitler himself if Brittany muted them. But the more you mute people and you make it like a regular thing, if you say at the start, like, I will mute you, I will do these things if necessary, and it's not a personal call, this, then you're making them kind of forced to respect your authority. And if they don't, then they shouldn't even be on your platform, because if anything, they're holding you back because you're not able to produce good content with this person. You're not probably able to moderate with this person. And a lot of people who would come on your platform like me and don't probably would if these people weren't in the room or if these people were properly moderated. For example, Big Papa Fascist.
Right. Like, I think that like the thing that's been the trickiest to moderate has been the panels, our pop-on panels, because it's just a lot going on, and I'm drinking as well, and so I'm kind of just checked out a little bit. But the debates are not that the debates are fine, I feel like, because they're just one-on-one. That's a little bit easier. There's not a lot of like crazy interruptions. I think the one-on-one debates are fine. It's the more so the panels that I would need to be getting better at on that, and I know I do need to get better at on that. I've tried muting people before and they fucking storm off and like throw a hissy fit, and I've tried doing little things like that. So I think also trying to find the line where it's okay, because I want the blood sports, like that is what our show is. I want the blood sports, but having the line where it's not just like screaming matches has been a little bit tricky to find, and I know I need to work on that.
Sorry, just to confirm, so racism, A-okay, but shouting at each other, no thank you. Is that, am I understanding that right?
I'm glad you get the hang of this, Chud.
Okay,
Here's what I do. Okay, because I don't mind if racist, sexist, Nazis, all these people are on our show. I don't mind about that. What I do want to work on and make sure that I address better is if it's directed at the actual guest, like when somebody is calling a black person the N-word, or what happened to Stardust, things like that. That's what I don't want. I don't want people to be attacked in those ways. I don't care if they're racist on like a general sense. What
happened to Stardust?
Stardust came on our show during a pop-on and asked a question to Dingo, and he didn't like it, and he just said some colorful things. And
colorful things? What kind of colorful things?
No, TOS. It's literally TOS shit.
Well, can someone at least describe to me in a non-TOS way what happened? Because was it? Oh, so she just said "fuck you" then? Well, that's not too bad, Brittany.
Right, no,
racial comments, racial comments.
Ah, I got you. Okay.
And so like things like that is the stuff that I do want to get better at on calling out, and which is probably why I'm gonna have to not really drink too much during those, because I just like I can't really do it when I'm drunk. So I mean,
Brittany, are you ever hoping to make this like a regular thing where you can make money at it, or you just want it to be a meme? Because if you're wanting it to be a meme, then then allow casual, I'll say fair behaviors like drinking, affect your bottom line, right? But if you want it to be a serious thing, then you got to buckle down and make sure. And that's the other thing with what Dylan's saying with moderating. You have to control all the aspects of it if you're trying to create good content.
Did you fucking see that no scope? Did you fucking see that no scope? Holy shit!
Force people to your will. Otherwise, you're going to be at their mercy, and that's gonna.
See, I also feel like and I don't think that like a lot of people in the Twitch sphere like really kind of have what we deal with, because like a lot of the people in the Twitch sphere are pretty like the things that they're debating, the things that they're arguing are really mainstream stuff. They're things that are like okay, you can take it anywhere and it's whatever. What we are arguing are a lot more spicy things, and with people who are like vehemently opposed to each other, like white nationalists going against like black people, and like things like this are going to get very heated, and it's not going to be the same kind of heat you're going to get over at Twitch. So it's a lot trickier to moderate, I think, some of the stuff that we put out than some of the stuff that you guys put out.
What you're saying, basically, the argument that I'm hearing is the difference between, say, like steak and cheeseburgers.
Okay, sure, right. Sure.
The argument, steaks and cheeseburgers. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the arguments of Twitch are a lot more refined, right, and able to be held within TOS because people, exercise some measure of control versus cheeseburgers, that you can, remanufacture out with no TOS and blah blah blah, and you get all kinds of crazy things that happen because there's not as much quality control.
Yeah, I think that's we can go with that analogy. But yeah, no, I mean, I know that there's things that like I need to do, and I'll fix some of them. Some of them will stay, but I don't plan on not platforming these people and having these discussions. I don't plan on stopping any of that. My moderation, could work. I could use some work, but I will still have these people on, and that's just gonna. And like so, like for people who don't like that we platform these people, nobody's stopping people from arguing with them. Nobody's stopping from anybody from having these debates or going at them. And if it's, I mean, like we have our pop-ons or whatever, which, like I said, those are the hardest to moderate. But for one-on-one debates, that's those are not hard to moderate. So like people wanting to argue with them, they can.
Okay, there's two things I just want to say. The first thing is, like, I think that's a bit unfair if, like, let's say someone is speaking out against a certain minority. Maybe they don't want to come on and argue their existence to someone, right? And but the second point that I'd make as well, and it's really a question, like, what's your reason for this kind of hardline approach to who you will and won't have on? What's the purpose of your show?
What do you mean by what's my
Well, are you
reason
trying to? Is it literally just blood sports and content, or have you got some broader political goal you're trying to achieve? You think?
I think it's just like I don't know, like it started like just in a Facebook group, and I kind of had the same style of moderation in that, like where I didn't like to boot people. I've always been really against booting people. That was the case for our Discord as well. I didn't want to kick anybody out. I wanted anybody that was willing to get out of their echo chambers to be able to have these conversations, because not everybody is willing to do it. Am I hearing an echo, or what is that?
No, that's just the empty space in your head.
I will fuck you up, Dylan, okay? So, right. Anyways, as I was saying. But yeah, so I was, and again, this is like when I wasn't planning on ever making any money for it, or like I wasn't getting anything out of it other than like I just enjoyed having the space to fight with people, for other people to fight with people without getting booted for the things that they're saying or having to walk on eggshells for the things that they're saying. I wanted a space where people can do that, because I was going into spaces and having arguments with people, and then somebody would get booted, and it like just made it annoying. So I wanted that space where that was not going to happen. And so I've been really, really opposed to booting people out of like my communities in general if they are wanting to be in them. So most of the people, if they have not been on or whatever, like it was their choice. And I get that our space is not going to be for everybody, and that's fine. It makes sense. Like it really isn't for everybody. And I hope that the people that it's not for, they don't come into these spaces, because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable or whatever. But for people that are able to have these conversations, and maybe like, you know, like Destiny's a good example. He will go into any of these kind of spaces, and he can put up a very good fight. But like some people are not, they don't really have that kind of oomph to them, and it's not for them. And I get it, and I don't like shame them for it. It's not for everybody.
Can I ask you a question? Can I say the N-word in your Discord or Twitter or whatever the fuck
I don't have
personal
it anymore.
your fucking personal thing? Because I'm not saying it for me, okay? I'm saying it because I've been said a lot of stuff from your community, okay? Where it's like just messages in there where people just throwing around slurs and shit, like, oh, those fucking Jews and da 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 da. And I didn't say Jews. It started with the word that rhymes with kite, right? And I see that, and I'm thinking, I don't know if that's a community I really want to interact with, if that's the type of way they carry themselves. And I feel like that's probably hampering your growth a certain amount. Like I just said, like I've been offered by multiple people, like, hey, I want to debate you on Politically Provoked, and I always just say no. Not because I won't debate them, period, just because it's on Politically Provoked.
Yeah, I see. I don't, we've gone through a lot of Discords. I've given up on having a public Discord at this point because it was just becoming impossible to hold on to. I couldn't really have the kind of Discord that I wanted to, and it got to the point where it was like, it's just so heavily moderated. I've just given up completely. Which it's been kind of a pain in the ass with trying to set up some of the debates and stuff. Doobie was so kind to give us a space in his Discord to be able to do things like that and plan debates and find people and stuff. But as far as us having a Discord, we after 5, I've kind of given up. But I wasn't really very active in our Discord, so I didn't want it very moderated, though, that's for sure. We did actually do things to address all of these concerns, because after each Discord we had, it was modded a lot more. So Discord 1 we had was pretty left-wing, so there wasn't really any problems with that. The reason we had to leave that one was because I was the only one that could boot people, and we got raided by a bunch of people. I lost my account, and so we had no control over it. That was the reason we had to stop that one. Discord 2 was probably the worst we had, for sure. That one like had really no moderation. There was probably a lot of slurs in there. Discord 3 is when I think Doobie made that one, and it had bots that caught all the slurs. We had a gulag. We had there weren't any slurs because we were getting those things taken care of. I think that one lasted maybe 4 days or something, something like that, and we lost it. Discord 4 was also very moderated. We had bots that were getting the slurs. We weren't allowing everybody to have pictures. Like, we were doing things to try to address all these concerns, but because we had so many people coming after us that like it didn't matter at this point what was happening in the Discord. They just wanted to shut us down because they weren't able to control what we were going to be doing. So I don't know if it's because they're mad about the show or they're mad about the Discord. I kind of view them a little bit separately, but yeah, we weren't able to hang on to it.
I mean, okay,
do
listen.
you guys have a do you guys have a
Forever Wild
sorry,
to come on.
hold
on, wait. This Forever Wild person has so much shit to talk all the time to me. Why don't you come on? Let's talk.
Okay, right. I just want to ask you a question, okay? At any point, did you not think that maybe you might want to just moderate your Discord to meet the terms of service so you didn't get it banned?
We did, though. That's what I literally just said. We did. Doobie set it up so well, like really freaking well, and it was modded really good. It didn't freaking matter, but though not sometimes when you have like a public Discord like that, and they're very active. Our Discords were very very active for the sizes that they were. So they were probably more active than like way bigger Discords, but when you have that, like occasionally something might like slip up, and if you're not going to get it to it fast enough or something, then they can get you for that. I don't know how they were able to manage to get us constantly, because the last few that we had, our mod team was really, really on top of things. Like, I didn't even like how heavily it was modded. They had to actually put me in check on certain things because I wanted to do other things that was going to put, I guess, the Discord in jeopardy. So,
You wanted to make it more racist, right? Is that what you're saying?
okay, I let people have a resident racist role, and my mod said you can't do that, so I said fine. Okay, so that was my thing that they had to put me in check on. But
do you guys have a Telegram?
yes, we do.
Because that's where I get sent the most vile shit from.
Yeah, we have a Telegram. I don't even know what goes on in there, but I'm sure it's pretty bad. And that I don't moderate because I just don't care.
Don't you think that's a bad thing that you don't moderate at all? Like, if I wanted to go in there, like, if I went in there, right? Odds are I would just be
Telegram.
I mean, it's under your brand, though, right?
No, but like, yeah, okay, but like, my brand is pretty spicy shit anyways, and like, but Telegram, see, this is the thing with left-wingers. They don't have to go into like any of these alt media spaces because they're accepted in all the normal places.
Well, I know a lot of lefties.
Well, yeah, we can follow the rules.
They're worried. Well,
Shut your face, Chud.
Well, as much as I love to not say the N-word, and that's why I'm not banned from Twitter, there's also the fact that a lot of people don't use Telegram, like I have used it in the past, because I don't like government monitoring my communication, and Telegram is usually can be pretty good about that. As far as I'm aware, at least that's how it's been explained to me as a selling point of it. So, but the problem isn't just the Telegram doesn't just stay in the Telegram, just like a Discord message doesn't stay in Discord. I don't go into your Discord or your Telegram and see this shit. What I see is politically provoked, and then fuck the Jews, and all that shit, right?
Oh, yeah,
and I see that brand, and I'm like, huh, these aren't viewers I want to in my chat. This isn't a community I want to interact with. I don't want to be around this shit. And so it's one of the reasons why I have no motivation to go on Politically Provoked, because like it seems that community is fostered in places like that.
Yeah, well, of course, because here's the thing, though. Because these people are not given many spaces, and they're purged out of all of the freaking online places. So somebody who is actually willing to give them a platform, yeah, they're going to migrate over to me a bit. So, like, yeah, we're going to have a lot of spicy people, and our right-wing community has grown quite a bit. Like, we used to be dominated by left-wingers, and the only right-winger we had was really BPF. And now, obviously, that's flipped. So we have a lot more right-wingers and not as many left-wingers. But that wasn't ever my goal to have it like that. I wanted it to be like 50-50, but it's a very hard thing to achieve. Like, in general, it's impossible to find like a real 50-50.
You can say that to a lot of people.
It's true,
it's not difficult for me to run a show 50-50.
No, but you're not, Dylan, get real. You don't have a 50-50 show. Like, Twitch is literally left-wing and then maybe libertarian.
Listen to me. I have 4 right-wingers and 4 left-wingers.
Oh my God, those are right-wingers though.
Listen to me. Okay, if you don't stop, look, you don't need to hate black people to be a right.
Shut up, just go.
Okay? It seems like, okay, when people tell me that I don't have real right-wingers, they'll point at people like CTV. They'll point at people like a lot of the libertarians I have on. They'll point at people like that. But then I'll look on the American political spectrum, right? And who do the libertarians vote for? Overwhelmingly, they vote for Republicans. Who would CTV vote for? Listen to what I'm about to say before you stalk, okay? You do that for every other show. I'm sure you can do it now too, okay? Okay. So I look at this, and for the discussions I have, they argue on the right-wing position on most of the shows. Now, that's not always the case, but a right-winger's job as a right-winger isn't just to, like, argue the right-wing position. Sometimes there's certain right-wingers that believe left-wing things, and certain left-wingers believe right-wing things, quote-unquote. Like, I'm pro-gun, right? Even though that would be considered a, quote-unquote, right-wing position. Now, my show, I do try my best to keep it 50-50 on the topics, even if the libertarian wouldn't necessarily be right-wing on the gays. So my statement to you would be, yeah, I do think I keep it 50-50. I keep it 50-50 on the topics, and I don't need people to hate black people to do it.
Oh my god, but okay, Dylan, again, this isn't like right. I mean, these are right wingers that, like, yeah, they can play in the lines and stuff, and they are. If you're right, I'm sorry, love you so much, CTV, but like, I'm so forgive me for what I'm about to say.
Do you really not think CTV's right wing?
I think he's right wing for Twitch. Yes, I do think he's right wing for Twitch. He might be like
he's right wing for the world. You're delusional.
No, okay,
You've been deluded by being in this fucking rabbit hole.
No, I think he's right wing libertarian-esque. I think that, but for Twitch, yeah, he might be like the most right wing on Twitch, maybe. But I just don't think that there's very far right people on Twitch. And if you think about it, like even Trump was kicked off all of the social media platforms, and he was freaking president. So I mean, if you can't even have the views that Trump was having in these circles, I promise you, they're not on Twitch.
Well, the difference is he was a president. Okay, number one, the president of the United States spread disinformation that led to people storming the Capitol and people lost their lives, right? There's a difference between that and just being a random right-winger with basically no power and influence. Also, he did multiple terms of service violations again and again and again, and Twitter let him pass before banning him. If anything, Trump was given a pass on multiple occasions. He wasn't banned. He wasn't banned for his beliefs. He was banned because he was banned due to the spreading of disinformation and not really giving a fuck about people storming the Capitol. And he has shown that 1 year later. He has, from going forward, he's tried to paint the picture of January 6 people. Oh, they were perfectly fine. His lawyer was writing instructions for a coup. What he was trying to do was very, very clear. So I don't think that's really comparable to, oh, I expressed just a normal right-wing opinion, to that's why Trump was banned. He was banned for multiple other reasons. And I'm telling you right now, okay, you can laugh, okay?
I wasn't sure when you're gonna be done.
Okay, well, the thing is, man, why is it only when I talk to you that you'll interrupt and you actually moderate? Where was this passion when I was talking to Big Papa Passion?
I'm gonna forget what I'm gonna say.
Is it because you just need like a strong right-wing man to keep you in line? but if I'm here, it's like, oh, it's different. I can smell the soy. Is that what it is?
Okay.
No, okay. I don't know how you could look at CTV and his political positions, who he votes for, and how he operates, and honestly say that this man isn't really right-wing when it comes to the world. Now, I don't understand how.
It's because I'm not racist.
That's really what it feels like. It feels like basically for you a right winger is if you hate black people.
Okay,
is that what a right winger is?
I think that if you go far right, yeah, there's going to be a lot of racial elements to their beliefs. Yeah, I do think that. And so I think there was a lot of that, I believe, also with Trump, and there's a lot of it with his supporters. That's there's no denying that. But they are not. So they have these beliefs, but they are not even allowed to say them because all of them are against TOS. So that is why, yeah, they get shoved off of these platforms, and they are right wingers. And they migrate to somebody that is going to give them a platform.
Okay, so I'm telling you right now that I have done it. I have done this thing where I have right wingers, left wingers in the room, moderate it, kept it within terms of service, and I've been fine, okay? Twitch has never given me a strike. Twitch has never warned me. I've never been given a strike on Twitter or any of these things for promoting any of this content, right? And I've even done it.
How many racists have you had on, Dylan?
Why would I would say the furthest I've gotten down that hole probably was probably with Hake from the person who runs with Jesse Lee Peterson's show is probably the closest I've got to that. That's somebody who said that racism never existed and that slavery was kind of bad, right? Okay.
Sorry, there's another thing. Sorry, there's one more thing. Sorry, I don't want to let you two hash it out here. I just want to point one more thing out. He also said that Kyle Rittenhouse's aim was guided by the angels, which was
yes.
Okay. So can I just address something real quick?
Well, I didn't even. You asked me a question.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll write this down because I don't know how long it's gonna take. Go ahead.
Holy shit. My God! Now she's moderator Andy. I've really put the fear in God in her.
Come on, enough posturing, Dylan. Come on, say your piece.
I love posturing. Okay, look. So the difference is, I don't think I need to include racists to show the right-wing view. I think that I could show right-wing views outside of the topics of race. There's certain things that I don't need to debate. I don't need to debate the Holocaust. I don't need to debate if slavery was actually based. I don't need to debate these issues of if black people are deserving of respect, or if they're human beings, or if they deserve the civil rights, or if Martin Luther King was actually kind of cringe, okay? These are not things that I think are necessary for debate and are not actually important issues when it comes to debate. And so I could have right-wingers on to debate the issues that I think are actually relevant to real America. And I think your debate show is a clown show that debates stuff that the majority of people don't care about and will probably never be actual issues in political debate outside of maybe the trans stuff every once in a while.
Okay, so first of all, do you think that if you guys push these people out of these circles that their views don't exist? Is that like what you guys think?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Let me show. I can. The thing is, they'll still exist in a way, but the problem is, if they're not able to disseminate their information on these large public platforms, their views do shrink with the amount of people that hold them because they can't spread them, right? I mean, let's look at all the people who've been banned from social media and how they do. How's Milo Yiannopoulos doing right now? He's fucking doing salesmanship for far-right Christian networks, pretending to not be gay anymore because he got kicked off of Twitter and all of the social media stuff. He's no longer on YouTube. There's other, if you look at these far-right commentators get kicked off of these social media platforms, 99% of the time what ends up happening is they either have to usually quit.
How's Nick Fuentes doing? How is Fuentes doing? Yeah.
Fuentes is doing okay, but it's not going to be like this every single time. But the majority of the time, if somebody's kicked off of certain marketplaces for them to spread their information, it's going to make them shrink, not grow.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is that now with kicking people off out of these spaces, having them go into spaces that you now have no control over. Fuentes has now created his own platform, and it's a really good platform. And you can't go in. I am still talking, man. Okay. And you can't report anything to TOS because he is now TOS. So these people that you would rather have them, if they are willing to be in these spaces, have these conversations. And this is also, okay, and I get shit for this, but like, this is like a huge argument, I feel like, against like multiracial, multicultural society, because if we can't be in these same internet spaces where there is no actual physical interaction with this, yeah, I guess if you want to go towards doxing and things that can happen, but this would be the safest place to have these kind of conversations because you're not physically going to be able to be harmed when you are having these discussions and you can actually have them. If we can't even be in the same internet spaces, how are we supposed to be in the same freaking country? We're living in like two separate realities, different media, different social media, freaking different everything, and we're trying to coexist in the same world, and it's not working, obviously. But my thing is about letting these people have these discussions. If you are having racists or homophobes or whatever, BPF was probably like the biggest transphobe. I mean, yeah, he's still transphobic and stuff, but he is a big transphobe who refused to ever call them by their preferred pronouns. Him doing these debates, him having discussions with people he has like had this big hatred for, or he like probably had never even met one before. And most of these people that I'm guessing hate certain groups of people, they likely have never really had much interaction. All they know is a caricature they are freaking fed by their news or whatever. And actually having these discussions with them almost can have a humanizing effect. You see, like, BPF is like friends, really good friends with a lot of trans people now. That there's zero chance that would have happened without this whole thing happening. So I don't think that just shoving them off and not having these conversations is a effective strategy, because I think you can have a chance to actually humanize people if you are having these discussions.
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that I don't think that it's impossible for somebody to get cornered off for them to still grow. I would say that Nick Fuentes has thrived not because he was cornered off, he thrived despite it. For example, if I get a injury in a sport, that doesn't necessarily mean I can't still succeed in that sport. It means I could possibly succeed despite it, but the odds of me succeeding are going to go down. So I don't necessarily think showing evidence of one or two people like not still being able to succeed despite being cornered off isn't evidence that cornering it off actually like is something that would not hinder you or you can do fine. In fact, the reason, if that was the case, then conservatives wouldn't be complaining about being cornered off, because they know that if they lose the bully pulpit, then it's going to be more difficult for them to appeal to all the masses. Because if you just look at the amount of people on Gab just lost their Twitter profile, by the way. But if you look at
Really?
big platforms, yeah, I was 1 hour after I retweeted them, so I'm gonna take credit for that. So, if you look at Gab or all these other right-wing platforms, they do not have the same reach as Facebook. They do not have the same reach as YouTube. They do not have the same reach as Twitter. And cornering them off does mean less people will get exposed to these ideas. And while it could make the individuals who get cornered off more radical, it would also make less people overall radical because they're not being able to be exposed to these ideas. What was the second thing you said after that? It was this sorry, I'm forgetting. You talked for a while. What was it?
I am not sure which part you missed.
Chud, do you remember?
No, sorry, I'm having some problems getting.
Nah, Chud just playing video games. Yeah, Chud's just playing video games.
We talked about how you can humanize them and how if you're kicking these people off of the social media, and yeah, you like even mentioned that they are going to be more radicalized if they are going to their echo chambers and stuff. But now they have their own platforms and stuff. You don't have any say in anything that goes on.
Oh yeah. Let me just say that. So the problem is do you really think that if YouTube should build policies around people like Nick Fuentes, because the problem would then be not resolved, because the problem I have is Nick Fuentes's beliefs and he's trying to spread them, including like things like Holocaust denial, for example. And so if we have people doing that, there's no way to build rules around it so it could be polite discussion without him spreading Holocaust denial. So if YouTube was to build their policies around the hardcore racists, then nothing's been resolved and my main issue isn't addressed. Yes, they're going to continue to say these things in a different environment, but they're going to be saying them to less people. And so I don't understand how...
And there's going to be no pushback, though. There's going to be no pushback when they're talking. And they're going to be, they're going to freaking get way more radicalized.
The problem is, I don't believe in the free market of ideas. I think it's bullshit. And I'm saying that as a panel host. I'm saying that as somebody... I'm saying that as a person with the biggest political panel... Let me finish. I'm saying it as the person who hosts the biggest political panel on Twitch. I have no financial incentive to say what I'm about to say, okay? Zero. I'm saying this because it's a lot easier to smear shit on the wall than it is to clean it up. If I come in here and I say right now, the Holocaust didn't happen, Brittany, and then you now have to disprove me. Brittany, do you have all the information on how the Holocaust happened? You could debate me on this right now if I had a bunch of shit. No, let me finish.
Wait. I want to give Brittany a chance to respond. Okay,
so it's a lot easier to spread shit on the wall than it is to clean it off.
Okay. See, this is like a big thing, and this is where it becomes dangerous when you're throwing shit on the wall and there is nobody to clean it up or whatever. But if you are having two sides that are going into a possible Holocaust debate, that person is likely going to come in prepared and be able to have those conversations. So yeah, if you have people who are going to have these views, you want to have people who will push back on it and get both sides and let people make their own informed decisions. But if you are going to shove them off into their echo chambers, they're going to be pushing this stuff. They're going to have no pushback. They're going to get radicalized further. And that becomes problematic.
So, Brittany, what is stopping me from looking at some fucking video posted on BitChute and responding to it on stream? Because I've done that multiple times, and it means that their original video gets exposed to less people, but my debunking is exposed to even more on YouTube.
Wait a minute. No. Because the people that you're debunking it to already agree with you. You see, the problem is with what you guys do is you're talking to people who already agree with you.
You're talking to the worst person on Twitch to say that. Wait, no. Because I host a political panel. There is a decent amount of righties in my chat. And the majority of them. Let me finish.
Listen, Dylan. Sorry, I feel like you're kind of like let's give Brittany a chance to respond in full, and then you can respond, okay?
Hey, by the way, Brittany, that's moderation right there.
Shut up. No, what I'm just saying is that and this is what lefties do, and I think this is the problem also, is that when they go into these debates, they are doing this debate bro thing. It's performative. They're talking to people who already agree with them. They are allowed to be in every single space, so they don't have to really take advantage of those opportunities as much, and they're more so just doing it to kind of build themselves. Whereas right-wingers, which is why, like, with Fuentes' platform, it's not about sponsors, it's not about this, it's just they need a space where they can get their message out. So when they have these debates, they're going to take advantage of it and actually try to reach normies. They're actually going to try to convince people, and they're going to use it to their advantage. So maybe that's why I was able to get red pilled or whatever, because the people that were arguing against some of these things were not coming up with good arguments. They were just saying things that they were just doing the debate bro tactics and like talking to people who already agree with them. And I didn't like the fact that nobody had good arguments against what I was hearing, and that freaked me out a little bit.
So the thing that I'm trying to get at here isn't the idea that all debate with far right people or racists is bad, right? You can get good successes by debating far right. I've done it before. I still believe it's possible, but it's also very rare to do it responsibly. Because if I was to host a debate between somebody in the Holocaust, like you said, and I agree with you on this, you have to get somebody that's super duper prepared. A lot of people just like, oh, I know the Holocaust happened, so I can debate this. No, you can't, because there's people who spend their whole lives.
We had a
trying to-
Holocaust debate.
Well, I'm sure you did.
With
I'm sure you
with
did.
With a historian, by the way.
Yeah, and that I think is probably the most responsible way to do it. What I'm saying about the deplatforming, though, it isn't impossible to have these debates still, and to still have this debates with these far righties on certain places and communities where we have it, and it can be done responsibly. The problem that I think is solved by deplatforming the far right is that you do isolate these ideas and you make it so that when these ideas are exposed to the public, it's a lot easier for people to just do it through response videos where you're bringing them, or response stuff on the internet where you're bringing it with criticism, and their original content is kind of scuffed. It's not on a big platform where they're going to get a lot of attention. And so how it's introduced to most people is going to be through a critical lens. And I have no problem with that. And I want that critical lens. I mean, that's how I want the far right to be responded to through the vast majority of people.
It's retarded because you're talking to people who already agree with you. What the hell is that going to do? Oh, you're basically, okay, let me just make fun of this video with all the people that already agree with everything I'm going to say. That's just retarded.
There's
You
no
want-
there's
you
no
want to
reason to convince nonsense.
No. Are you kidding me? You bring, okay, when you have two communities, if you were to do a debate with a far right person, the far right community is going to be there, but your community is as well. You guys both go at whatever it is the topic you're doing, and maybe somebody in either one of your communities can be convinced if you come up with a good enough argument to do that. It's happened before. I've seen it happen before. It happened to me. But if left-wingers are not even going to engage in these conversations, then yeah, people are going to
So-
our platform's still ticking. We haven't had any strikes or anything either. We haven't had any.
The problem with what you're saying, Brittany, isn't that and I do think it's possible to convince an individual Nazi. When I say there's no point in convincing Nazis, so it's not impossible. But when you have an audience, let's say we're talking about, let's say person A who holds the mainstream political opinion on the Holocaust, that 98% of people agree with, right? 98, 99% of people agree that the Holocaust happened. And then you have the person B who believes it doesn't happen. It's going to go into this debate super prepared. Let's say person A actually does decent. Let's say they don't do a great job. They just do decent. Now, if you do decent in a debate and you quote unquote win, for most situations, that would be a victory here. In this situation, it would not be a victory, because if the vast majority of people watching this debate don't believe this thing, and they hear even 1 or 2 decent points out of this debate, that's going to make them start questioning it. And if they can convince 1 to 2% more of those people, let's say only 5 to 10% of the people come out of that thinking that the person B won, then that's a victory, because now that's more people being exposed to this thing that was used to be far-right radical nonsense that no one believed, just got a little bit more normalized.
So basically, okay, and the Holocaust is like is a big leap. I feel like then not every debate's gonna be like that. Okay, but I mean, there's a lot of other
Let's be
debates.
clear, you have hosted a Holocaust debate, though.
We hosted one Holocaust debate, yes.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
it was with a historian, and he knew his stuff. So it was actually it was done right, but we had internet issues, and then they blamed the Jews for that, so that was fun. But there's a lot of other discussions that could be had that are more about like with immigration and things like this. That can be had where you can convince people that on either side, if you have better arguments, which is
Nope.
I think the biggest thing is
Who had better
maybe-
arguments, Mio, the anime person, or Destiny?
Well, you mean when they spent 45 minutes talking about music?
I'm asking
That-
you, who
They
had
weren't
better?
talking about the topic though. They never got to the topic.
No, wait, you didn't even. Don't dodge my question. I'm
That's
just asking.
exactly what happened though, and you damn well know it.
Don't dodge my question. Just answer the question.
No, they weren't talking about the
Okay,
topic,
got
Dylan.
it.
That was the problem.
Okay. Never mind then. You don't need to answer the question.
Oh my god. Like they didn't about
Can't
music
you just answer the question?
because there's nothing to answer because they never got to the actual topic because they were talking about other things.
So did I not ask a question? Because you said there was nothing. There actually is a question to answer.
You asked who had better arguments, but
Yeah,
we're
just
talking
answer the question.
There was no argument. Is the point?
Well, actually, there were multiple arguments from two
No, there
different
weren't.
people.
Not on the actual topic. I don't care about who fucking had better arguments on what musical notes are.
Wait. They've had multiple debates. Am I right?
Yeah, they had like 3
In any of those debates, did Mio do a good job?
I think the first one Mio did a really good job.
Okay, then I think you're delusional, and
No,
that's why.
no,
Let me finish.
Okay.
Okay, I think that is evidence that there are some people who cannot be convinced at all. Because if you can listen to that anime profile picture person talk for like 5 to 10 minutes and think that they have anything interesting to say, or they are convincing in any manner, I think that those people cannot be convinced by good arguments. I think that they're dug into a position that they can't be moved on. Because I will host debates before between like say 2 people, and a right winger and a left winger, and I'll disagree with the right winger, and I'll come out saying they still made better arguments, but I'll have people in my chat saying no they didn't, and then I'll ask why, and the reason why, and they'll never admit it, is because they disagree with them. And I think the Mio is just a perfect example of this.
Hold on, excuse me, no, because I just said the first one he did better. The other 2, Destiny won, so that's a stupid freaking argument to make. But no, I fucking think that Mio, like, for people who, and they'll sit there and say, oh, well, she's just so stupid, that's why he was able to red pill her. Well, BPF had been with us for months having these debates, and why wasn't he able to red pill me on anything? Maybe Mio just has a different approach in what he's doing, and a lot of it, yeah, we were talking off stream and off debates and stuff as well, but his hypotheticals, and because I know a lot of left-wing
Do you think Mio is a convincing person?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do.
That's my evidence.
In the right environment, I do think he is. And you know what? But the problem is
you're maybe in the right environment. If they're in an insane asylum, they might be slightly convincing.
Okay, sure. But no, like Mio was able to make arguments. Nobody was coming at them with better ones. And I was like, what I was actually hoping to do was have Mio, Destiny, and Nick make those arguments, because I feel like they're the 2 best in the game, and I was hoping to see if I was going to be able to. That was my original plan before Mio came along, but then some shit happened, and so whatever. But the thing is, like, I was able to actually the hypothetical really worked with me, because it was a realistic hypothetical, and it had a lot of arguments that I've had myself. Like, I've even gone through the white guilt stuff before, where I was like out there saying, white straight men in power are horrible and they shouldn't be there, and I was doing all that stuff. I was open borders, all this stuff. But when I started to hear some of these arguments, and I don't know, and I'm glad to see that Twitch is leading the charge in fighting for little Timmy. Like, that's been good. That's been very white pilling for me. But I don't think that he's making like stupid arguments, because he was put in a freaking like a really high pressure situation against Destiny and stuff, and they got stuck down these rabbit holes that don't fucking matter. You guys haven't really heard him in his element, I think.
That's Chud.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realise. My apologies. Sorry, we're trying to play Halo while you 2 are arguing. Sorry, continue.
I think I'm okay for now.
Right, go on, Dylan.
Oh no, I have nothing to respond to there. I just thought I don't think there's anything to respond to there. I just thought it was a shit argument. I don't think Mio's convincing, and I think the idea that he makes good arguments is actually.
So what's your response to Little Timmy then?
What's the response to Little Timmy? Bully him harder. Fucking beat the shit out of him. Fuck Little Timmy.
Okay.
It's to me the Little Timmy scenario is fucking ridiculous, because I'm a white kid who grew up in
You're not white.
True, I am Irish, but I am a white kid who grew up in Prince George's County. It's a majority black county. I was like the one white kid in my class. I was the one white kid, period. Right? I'm fine. Okay, everything was fine. We were a perfectly fine community. The little titty scenario was literally my childhood. It's completely fine. I think it's ridiculous as fuck.
Okay, well, why don't we talk a little bit more about Little Timmy? Because, first of all, I don't know how old you are, whatever, but in the age of social media, especially.
It was literally during the fucking, like, Ferguson riots. I was, like, in middle school. I was fine.
How fucking old are you?
I'm 20.
When was the Ferguson riots?
It's fucking what, 2012, 2013? Something like that. Let me look it up.
Well, I feel like in 2008 is basically when social media.
Yeah, I was in middle school. Yeah, I think, or like early high.
So 2008 was basically when social media started to take off and stuff. And I think that social media has played a huge role in a lot of the stuff that we deal with, and we're all kind of had to learn to adjust to this new society. People like you have basically grown up in the social media age. So I guess that's like you didn't have to adjust to a new world. That was your world. But for a lot of people, it's the information coming out there so fast, seeing things and getting without being able to get all the facts before, and hate groups rising, people able to find each other that are linking up with the same kind of views and enforcing them, has caused some problems, which is why I don't think the echo chamber stuff is a good idea. Like, I think even in our 24-hour news networks, like, I think that there should only be one 24-hour news network, leave all the actual news to local stations. But if you have these 24-hour news networks, they should have both the left and the right on at all times. So any story that comes out, you can get both perspectives, and then people can make their own decision. Having them as two separate networks and people can go into their echo chambers, I think that type of environment is problematic. And it's the same thing with social media. That type of environment is problematic.
So
I think
okay, so I agree that there are downsides, obviously, to pushing people into like smaller fucking like internet communities. And the reason, one of them is obviously the idea that if you're in an echo chamber, it's going to be much harder to change your ideas. I think the benefits, though, of those ideas not being spread to a wider audience are self-evident, though. When I just think that the benefits outweigh the causes. This is cost-benefit analysis for me. And I would say that I would look at basically any country which will ban like something or like do its best to suppress certain types of speech in many in scenarios when it comes around like hate speech particularly. It does I think correlate with those countries hate movements actually being kneecapped largely. Like for example, being a neo-Nazi in Germany is not an easy lifestyle, gotta be honest.
Yeah. Well, this is an argument for like being like a homogenous country because basically
okay, that's
it is. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. Like, if we can't freaking have these arguments and we have so many different types of people here, there are going to be infighting. There is going to be hate. There's going to be a lot of that shit. And if we can't even address it, we can't even have these conversations, then what the fuck are we doing?
Okay, so I'm trying to use the word I don't want to use the same word you used. I don't want to be ableist right now, but okay. So you're telling me that that an argument for homogeny is the fact that people are not, you get penalized if you're racist.
No, that there's going to be hate in these countries. Like, if you're
and the solution to that is don't be hateful. That's the solution. The solution there. How do you address it?
How do you make somebody not hateful?
How do you make someone very not? There's a lot of ways to do it when it comes to deprogramming and stuff like that, like giving them information that is counter to like.
So basically, you have to interact with them then.
Wait, let me finish. Right, but giving them platforms does nothing but spread that tumor. I'd rather reduce the size of the tumor, okay, and try to eliminate it entirely over time, rather than let the tumor grow on the hope that the rest of the body can just fight it off.
No, you'd rather just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. Just admit that.
Thank you for assuming my ideas. That's very good.
Well, you kind of did say it. You said it earlier.
I said ignore. I never. Okay, when did I say we should ignore hate and pretend it doesn't exist?
When I said out of sight, out of mind, you basically said, yeah, they just go. They go.
No, I would. Fuck. I did not say out of sight, out of mind. I was making an argument as for why it is more beneficial to isolate radical ideas than it is to keep them out in the public sphere, right?
The only way you're gonna...
I'm not saying that's the end goal right there, just to isolate them. I think over time you should eliminate them.
Okay. Well, yeah, the only way you're going to be able to de-radicalize anybody is if you are engaging with them.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think racism has increased or decreased in the United States over time?
I believe it's probably increased since social media.
Okay, so you think social media is the game changer then? That before it was decreasing, but now it shall forever increase.
I think so. You know what I think also is when we started to have all this stuff in your face and stuff, and then with Twitter, people like are constantly trying to out-woke each other, and we're pushing so much change onto people so fast, and a lot of them they can't handle that change. There's no escape for some people who are like in these rural areas that they didn't have to deal with that before. They were able to kind of just like isolate themselves, and it was, I guess, out of sight, out of mind for them. So they weren't, it wasn't like, they weren't having to deal with it. So now they're seeing how much change is happening so fast, and it's freaking them out. It is freaking them out because all they are also seeing is the characters that they are being told. And if you don't start to engage with these people and ease some of those fears, you're going to have a lot of reactionary stuff going on. And that could be a little bit dangerous.
Okay, so what you're saying, okay, could you try to clarify what you're saying more, because I don't really understand it when it comes to social media and how is going to increase racism?
I think that people are, a lot of it is more in your face than it used to be. So a lot of the trans stuff, people just got used to the LGBT stuff, and now the trans stuff is coming at people hard, and it's freaking them out. You have all the the riots and stuff that you're seeing,
Okay,
all the looting, all the things like this, like
So-
it's freaking
Okay,
people
so
out.
I'm gonna be honest. These are things that have always been around. They're just more visible now. It's not that these things.
No, it's
Let
way.
me-
Wait.
Jesus.
Let Dylan respond. Come on.
God.
Okay, the one man she'll speak
Welcome
over.
to
Okay, it's
Chud
my long
Nation.
hair. She's challenged by it. Okay, so
Stop posturing and say your piece.
let me. Jesus, Chud, you're playing Halo. Let me have fun, okay? It's Christmas Day. Let me posture. Let me be my fucking Christmas present. Is my ability to posture, Chud. Jesus Christ. Okay. So my hair, wonderful. So fuck, Chud, you fucking made me forget my thing.
Nailed it.
Okay, so
Because
it was-
Dylan gets all flustered
So
whenever he's in
visibility,
CTV's presence.
it was visibility. Okay,
All right, go ahead.
so rioting. A lot of people might not know this during the civil rights movement. A lot of people are like, I want BLM to be more like the civil rights movement, which wasn't violent. That's fucking bullshit. The civil rights movement was extremely violent, at least in comparison to BLM. There was definitely a lot of riots during the civil rights movement. There was literally something called like the fucking ghetto uprising. Okay,
You know
when
when
I talk
TVs started to come out? TVs were in homes.
TVs weren't okay. There is a difference between TVs that were homes in the 1960s
Yeah.
and 24-hour news coverage
This
in
was
combination. Let me finish,
All right,
Brittany.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
You're
I'll be
making
quiet.
me a right winger because you're gonna make me fucking sexist. Okay, look. So the thing is, Brittany, there's a difference between TVs in the 1960s. Okay, when you had the guy come on TV and like Saigon has fallen. Okay, and that was the 70s, but still. And there's a difference between that and 24-hour news coverage combined with social media, where everybody can be a newscaster because they can take out their phone and take pictures inside of a riot and live stream everything. Because you want to know what I'm doing right now as a streamer, being able to broadcast news every day from my house isn't something you could do in the 1960s. And so people have more and more and more access to constant information, where there's constantly things happening at all times that you can constantly research and look at. If I wanted to, I could do a 24-hour stream just looking at Twitter and constantly be consuming new information at any point. That is not something we've had in the past. And so when I say things are more visible, I'm being honest. For example, the trans stuff. While of course there has been progression on these issues, trans people have been part of the queer movement for a long time. If you look at Stonewall, the people that were at the cornerstone of that riot, which was a riot, people try to like rebroadcast it as like it was like a peaceful whatever that it was a riot against cops brutalizing the queer community, was trans black people. They were the cornerstone of that, trans people of color. And so a lot of people like to be like, oh, this trans activism is not a new thing. It's become more visible, and it's reached the center of the conversation. That's the difference now.
Oh, come on. You know that's not true. It's become a lot, like maybe because we are becoming more tolerant, I guess you could say. So there seems to be a lot more, but it was not like this before, and you know it, and you're being dishonest when you say it was. Just because you're claiming it's more visible. No.
That's a great argument.
There seems to be a freaking rise in it as well. So
what do you mean a rise in it?
I
like
think
in
there's
what
a
way?
rise in like how many of people are seeming to identify in the LGBTQ community.
Well, of course, because if you stop saying if you're gay, I'm going to disown you and you no longer can have a job, then more people are going to be able to openly say, yes, I'm gay.
So yeah, so then it's going to be a lot more of this that other people are seeing, that it's rising, it's in their face more, and it's freaking them out. So there's a rise in that, and
so you concede the rioting, though, that is just due to visibility.
Oh, wait.
There's not more rioting now than there was, say, in the 1960s.
Oh, wait, hold on a second, because that was like a specific time that was happening where we were going to go through the civil rights movement. That was like during that, like it was a peak thing. And again, also there was
so what? That would still be a concession.
But
that this
yeah,
isn't like but because you're trying to pretend that like social media has like spawned more rioting than ever.
There's moments throughout history where you're gonna have spikes of these kind of things that are happening.
So this isn't a new development. This is just one more step in the civil rights struggle.
There are things that are sparking them for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying then is not that rioting is this new development. Like, oh my God, there's more rioting than ever. Then that wouldn't be the argument then, because then the statement would just be we're seeing rioting more than ever because more people can like cover rioting through their phones and through Twitch streams and that. It's not there's no material difference between the amount of rioting that was happening in the 1960s and now. If anything, it's more peaceful now.
No, in my lifetime and in yours, there's more.
How? Prove it.
See, okay, for you, you're 20 years old. Like, when was the last time we were going through all this shit in your lifetime?
Okay, so you're that's not proving it. That's
No,
not,
I'm saying,
no.
yes,
You prove to me that now is more violent than the civil rights struggle of the 60s.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. That's not my claim, though.
Okay, so what is your claim?
I'm saying that what people are seeing, and a lot of these people that are going through, they're seeing a rise in it now. It's not like it wasn't like this like 10, 15 years ago. It's happening now, and there's a lot more of it. And not on top of it, it's in your face more. And a lot of people, I think they do it because of social media, because they are trying to, spark something, and they know it's going to reach out a lot of people. Just like even like, wasn't that MLK's thing? Is he wanted to, provoke some of these cops to do things so that they could, in front of the camera, so that people would see what's actually happening. And it seems like a lot of people take those approaches as well now.
Cops, MLK. Okay, so you're kind of jumping around here, but when it comes to
you're going to all kinds of different time zones.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, calm down. Okay,
okay.
When it comes to the civil rights movement, right?
Yeah.
If any time that there's like a political issue that like becomes like evident, definitely when it comes to something like civil rights, there's going to be more attention to it. It's going to spike dialogue, and then the far right's going to get angry because they feel like they're losing the power and they're going to resist it. And of course, the people who want civil rights are going to go out there and try to do it. And these things happen throughout time. Movements start, movements end. And yeah, that's the thing. But there isn't anything special about the idea that now, due to social media, it's been more violent than ever. So there's nothing. So what I'm saying, what I'm going to say right now is, there's nothing special about this that is an argument against the idea of deplatforming, because we are I don't understand what's the point of what you're saying here.
I'm saying that people are seeing these things, and not to mention the fact that white people are going to become a minority, and that freaks people out on top of it. And when you're seeing some of the stuff with the BLM, with the riots that are happening, with a lot of the anti-white rhetoric that goes on, with all this stuff that's brewing, and then you have all the critical race theory shit, you've got a lot of our history as well, being pumped into people, and so many white people on top of it being very anti-white, which is not helping. And I don't know why they don't think about
anti-white.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't think about the fact that this could actually backfire on them as well. Because if this is just like purely a racial thing, and you have somebody where I've seen videos with black people literally going in and go get all the go after all the white people and stuff like that, they're not gonna know, hey, are you the good white person or are you the bad white person? Are you the lefty white person or are you the freaking right-wing Nazi white person? They're not gonna know. So when people are pushing this stuff and we see this happening, it freaks people out. It freaked me out.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Okay, so what you're saying is that social media allows people to see anti-whiteness more, and so it's pissing people more off. Therefore, this is an argument against homogeneous society. I mean, a multicultural society, and an argument for a homogeneous society, because in a homogeneous society, we wouldn't have these problems.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of problems that we're not able to address because we have a lot more infighting and stuff than some of the other countries that might be a little bit more homogeneous.
So the solution here wouldn't be, now let's end our multicultural society. The solution here, because it's impossible, so entertaining it is stupid. It would be like saying, oh, the way to end cancer is to end humanity, because then cancer couldn't succeed. It's literally... Yeah, it's not something you can really entertain. The solution here would be what I'm arguing for right now, would be the regulation of social media platforms. What you're arguing for would just lead to even more infighting and make all the problems you're talking about right now 10 times worse. Do you really think... Wait. Do you really think all the neo-Nazis that have been banned off of Twitter and Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, if they were given back their social media profiles, the amount of polarization in this country would increase or decrease?
Yeah, no, it probably would increase and stuff. So
what's the problem?
What I'm saying is that you need to also start and lefties could probably do this as well, start pushing some of these things that will ease some of people's fears as well. I really think that we need to close the borders. I don't think we need any more immigrants in here. And I think that would go a long way. I mean, Trump literally won an entire election in he was the worst possible candidate you could ever find, that he was able to win just on build the wall. That's how much it's freaking people out, and it's freaking a lot of people out.
Okay, so we have a labor shortage right now. I think
Well,
we can.
AI
We
will
can
take care
let.
of that. AI will take care of that.
Who will take care of it?
AI.
Hey. You think that if we were to shut off the borders, AI right
Yes.
now would be able to be a solution
Not right
for
now.
our labor
No,
shortage?
no, no,
Okay,
not right now.
so
Not right
you
now.
don't want. So you want to close the borders eventually? Don't close the borders right now, then. And do you think
Oh.
AI can, for example, AI is really needed in a lot of industries. Like, for example, I'm a Marylander. I know a little bit about East Coast issues, like coastal issues, even though this isn't really our coastal issues, but we have it with clammings. But for a lot of people who do, I think it was either shrimping, I think specifically, needs a lot of foreign labor because a lot of American shrimpers, even though it pays really good, it's very labor intensive. And we have a lot of people in Mexico are really good in the shrimping industry. And we need to give these people visas because the shrimping industry is suffering right now because they're hiring Americans who go out there. They're like, oh shit, this is actually a lot more hard than I thought. Then they quit on the boat. Then they got to go home and waste all this money on fuel and resources to get them back. And they lose seasonal fishing time because they got to bring this person back who's no longer working for them. They got a person they fed no longer working for them. And that's giving them major overhead costs that they would rather not be able to do because they have veteran shrimpers right over the border that could be helping the American economy and helping this American business that they no longer have access to. And AI is not going to fix the shrimping economy. AI is not going to, the stuff you're talking about with AI is shit we're not going to see for like hundreds of years, not in my lifetime.
No, wait.
You think there's going to be AI shrimpers in my lifetime doing AI shrimping? You have no clue. You have no clue what
I
you're
haven't
talking about.
looked into the shrimping industry, so I'm not going to be able to comment on that.
Yeah, I'm talking about the real result of closing the borders.
Okay.
These industries are going to be hurt brutally. Definitely border towns.
Shut the fuck up about shrimps for 2 seconds, all right? Like,
Somebody's anti-shrimp.
oh my god, I hate my life right now. Okay, so what I'm saying is that AI is going to affect like literally every single industry across the board. And most of it's going to start with the low-skilled labor. What's coming in from south of the border? It is going to be mostly low-skilled labor. So we're bringing in people that are going to be replaced. I'm still talking. We're bringing in people that are going to be replaced by AI when we're going to have so many Americans already affected by that. Why are we bringing in these people if we don't have to? Sure, okay, I guess in the short term, yeah, fine, whatever you can say. But a lot of jobs right now in general, people are just doing it from home. Like, I don't know. I mean, we have people, like, we have the labor here. We have a lot of immigrants here. We have a lot of undocumented immigrants here. I don't know how, like, much we really need this labor when by the time, like, it would be a problem, I think AI will be taking over it.
Okay, so right now, not in the future, because what you're doing right now is speculating about how the economy will evolve by, like, general ideas. You don't really, I'm not an expert in AI, and I doubt you're an expert in AI, right? I'm somebody, I try to research foreign relations. I'm not really an AI guy. And apparently I'm now the resident expert on shrimp on Twitch, apparently. Apparently I know more than everyone else about shrimp. But, what we're talking about right now is speculating. Me and you have no idea exactly when AI is going to start like taking over these jobs perfectly. Yang ran a campaign off of it, but we don't know. And considering that, closing the borders right now economically is a dumb thing to do when you're compounding the fact that we're having this labor shortage with the fact that one second, somebody just sent me a message. Give me a moment.
Oh, they're giving you information, huh?
The shrimp mafia is coming in.
The shrimp people are coming in.
CTV, is there anything you want to? I'm trying to just moderate as best I can. So go on.
I want to read this and just give your chat a little bit of a red pill here because I'm gonna give some numbers on if a machine could take your job. So I'm gonna go through this. So food preparation and service, 81% risk of automation. Production operations, 79% risk of automation. Office and administration, administrative support, 60%. Farming, fishing. There's your shrimp, fucker. And forestry, 56%. Transportation and material moving, 55%. Construction and extraction, 50%. Installation, maintenance and repair, 49%. Sales, 43%. Healthcare support, 40%. Legal, 38%. Computer and math, 37%. Protective services.
Okay, I get the idea. Right?
AI is coming for every job.
Okay. So the thing is, definitely when it comes to things like visas, which is like, for example, the vast majority of undocumented immigrants are staying here because of visa overstays. It isn't because they were officially made citizens or they like just like crossed the border, blah, blah, blah. It was because of visa overstays. So this is something that we like like really need right now is these immigrants. Definitely if we're in the middle of a labor shortage, right? Now, when the AI starts taking these jobs and workers start and these industries start doing this, and they're citizens of other countries, undocumented or otherwise, what's the options that's going to be laid out before them? Leaving is going to be one option, right? The other option is going to be getting an education to like climb up the ladder, but that's of course going to be dependent upon what state they live in and what type of education they can get. And a lot of states are actually, like in my state, I was actually in the Maryland General Assembly when this law was passed, are allowing for undocumented students to undocumented young people to actually be able to get in-state public tuition costs for education. Legislation like that can help people actually, transform for the modern service economy, modern information economy. And so the idea of like, well, let's restrict the labor that we need desperately right now due to the labor shortage in these industries like shrimping, which is just the example we're going off today. Let's close off the border to solve this future issue when we're facing issues based off of a labor shortage right now, because one day, even though we don't know for sure, AI is going to be taking these jobs and we don't know when they're going to take them, how many they're going to take, what percentage of them are going to be taken. I think what we should do is let the economy naturally evolve, because when jobs dry up, immigration dries up. The reason why everybody in the world wants to come to the United States is because there's good job and good pay. If those jobs are drying up, then people will stop coming.
Dylan, you missed my entire thing about all the percentages, and that's very shameful.
Yes, yeah, no, I was listening to the fucking percentages thing. I was texting my dad back. I was listening to it, but yeah, no, dude, that's all. That's still listen. Listen to what? Wait, no, listen to the numbers. Read out the numbers again. Read it again. I'll tell you something about those numbers.
Oh my god! But wait, let me just before I do that, let me just say something. And like, so Bill Gates had a proposal that I thought was really interesting, that would basically tax the machines that are going to take people's jobs and use that money to invest in retraining people that could be displaced. Something like that would be a good program to have, because we need to start preparing people for this. And it is coming. And I don't like when people, it's funny because leftists have been the ones who have been pushing this, but all of a sudden you turn it to an immigration discussion. It's all like, oh, you're being paranoid. AI is not coming for anything.
You turned it into an immigration discussion.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when it, like, lefties are the ones who were pushing the fact that AI is coming for jobs and we need to prepare for it. But when you start talking about it in an immigration sense, that's when they start saying, oh, well, you're being paranoid about this. The AI is not coming for anything. It's going to be 100 years down the road. And it's just dishonest. But, okay, I'll read the percentages. And I know chat is super excited to hear them again. They're really excited. Okay.
And could you say the source quick, please?
I'd have to look for that. I have a freaking. Shut up. All right. So okay, I make these little things. All right. So food preparation and services, 81%. Production operation, 79%.
81% what? Say what it is.
The risk of automation.
Risk of automation. Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing that's interesting to me. It's risk of automation, and you're reading off the number. It's not saying how much of this industry will exactly be automated. It's not saying exactly like, oh, this is the risk that it will be automated. It's like throwing out random percentages for what might happen, right? So again, this is all speculation, right? We have no clue. We have no clue what exactly.
It's not saying that. Actually, hold on. It's not saying that at all. The number is not saying that. What the number is saying is that based off of the available technology
you have the numbers, CTV?
Listen.
Do you even know what the source is, CTV? Because you don't have the number in front of you.
In order to explain this thing, right? So if there's a specific job that's going on, like painting, for example, so there's a certain amount of that can be pre-programmed to repetitious actions that can be turned over to an AI or to some type of automation. And there are certain parts of a job that you're going to have a human being to do there because it's just simply too complex to have. That's the point.
Yeah, like a job that maybe took like 20 people will take one. So what happens to the other 19 people is the question.
Okay, so what I'm saying about those numbers is it's still complete speculation, and I don't even know the source of them. But let me entertain the numbers like it means something. It's still complete speculation. And again, this doesn't address my issue. How would building the wall fix this AI issue?
I don't think we should build the wall.
Okay.
I think building walls would stop it. I think that we
okay, so you don't want to wait. You said we should close the border.
Yeah, I do. I think we should.
So how would close the border help anything right now?
I think that we need to contain what we already have here. I think we're continuing.
So
we're continuing to rapid pace the what's going to be happening to white people becoming a minority.
Okay, so your interest here, and let's be honest here, isn't with the economy, because the economy would greatly suffer based upon what you're saying.
It's both, Dylan.
Okay, no. listen right now. You're talking about stuff that might happen and is speculation
It's
to
already
happen. And I'm fucking Jesus Christ, Brittany. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let Dylan say his piece and you can respond, Brittany. Go.
Yeah, I just said I'm sorry.
AI is developing, but we have no clue exactly the limits of AI or the pace at which it will take over, okay? And so the idea that we're going to close the border right now and hurt industries like the shrimping industry, like the food industry, if you honestly think we're going to be able to film, and this is something, for example, the farming industry up with white homogeneous labor in the United States to help the white man get the job back on the farm. That ain't gonna happen. That industry is dominated by migrant labor, and it's not dominated by migrant labor because they were able to steal jobs from the natives. It's dominated by migrant labor because the natives don't want to work the jobs, and that's period. If that wasn't the case, then why do we have a labor shortage right now?
Dylan. Farming, fishing, and forestry, 56%.
So you're saying in the future that could happen, but right now you are saying watch the American economy burn. Let's watch people fucking suffer because of my speculation upon AI in the future, and I'm willing to do it right now to do it. What you're doing, this whole closing the border thing, is not going to help anybody.
No, I think we have enough labor here. I'm sorry, but I just do. I really think we have enough.
So why do we have a labor shortage?
Labor shortage in what sense? Where?
In the, what? What do you mean in what sense? We have a labor shortage.
Like in
You're
what
a company.
field?
If you in basically every field.
Like which ones?
Okay, the service industry when it comes to food.
Yeah, I mean that can easily be replaced right now by AI. Like
So why isn't it?
It's a good question, but like, you're seeing a lot of the service industry in general being taken by jobs. Like if you go to like the markets, they have the self checkouts. They've got a lot of this shit like that's already happening in China. That's already happening with the food industry.
Already,
like,
so why is there a labor shortage? If that's the case, if it could all be just replaced right now by AI, why is there a labor shortage?
Maybe they need to freaking, I don't know. I don't know why there would be a labor shortage in certain, maybe they just haven't started doing it yet. I don't know.
So they haven't started doing it. Almost like AI can't just magically take all of these jobs right now because the development of that technology is okay. So why should we close the border right now to solve this issue?
Because there's the other factors as well, and some people would.
What other factors?
I've already told you the other factors.
So we're done. So it's not helping the economy. So let's all be evident. Just closing the border would not help the economy.
In the short term, it might not help the economy.
Okay.
But in the long term,
it might, because based upon my speculation. So let me ask you again: how would this work any better than continuing to have our immigration system? There's
how many immigrants should we take in?
You want me to give you an exact number about the amount of immigrants we should take in?
Yeah. How many should we take in a year?
You know why that's a stupid question, right?
Why?
Asking somebody to have an exact. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think we should help cancer research?
Do you know how many we do take in a year?
Okay, this question is pretty important for why I think I can't answer this question, okay?
All right,
how much should we fund cancer research?
I think we should fund quite a bit.
Give me an exact number.
Well, I would need to know the number of how much we are doing now.
There you go.
Okay, so
giving you an exact number is not going to be possible in a conversation just happened, number one, out of nowhere. And also, number two, it's like giving an exact number to an economy that changes rapidly throughout the year is going to be very difficult. My answer is going to be our number should be based upon labor shortages and how much labor we need within the United States and how the economy reacts and grows throughout the year. That would be my answer to your question. It's dependent upon economic factors. That's how much I think we should base how we take immigrants. Refugees is a different situation because that's more humanitarian, but that's what we should do with the immigration system. Okay. So if that's also my answer to it, why couldn't the solution then be, let's say AI really does take away all these jobs, instead of closing the border, we react to this by slowly decreasing the amount of immigrants we take in based upon how many jobs are available and needed. Because if that was the answer, then it would be able to react like it does right now to the amount of, that's how we do work visas, to the amount of jobs that are open. And
so let's do that.
Okay, but that's what we currently do.
No, we're not.
What do you mean? That's how work visas work.
No, we taking like a ton of. We haven't decreased the amount of it under Trump. I think he might have, but like we haven't decreased the number of immigrants coming in.
Okay, so do you know how work visas work?
Vaguely.
Okay, so you want to ban all immigration? Okay, got it. So work visas, or they're like temporary work visas, are these things we give people because we want them to work in the United States, but we don't necessarily want to make them a citizen, right?
Okay.
So this is something that we do, for example, back to the almighty question of the shrimp, okay? The shrimping industry. This is why it's
Oh my
actually
God,
shrimping
what is it
industry
doing
is
with the
hurting
shrimp?
right now because
What?
Trump severely restricted working visas, for example, specifically in the
The
shrimping industry and a lot
fascination
of
with
other
little
industries.
things.
I really look. I care about
If
shrimp.
I
Okay,
can,
I love shrimp.
if I can contribute a little bit here.
Sure. Okay.
So, as of 2017, immigrants accounted for more than 18% of U.S. healthcare workers. So I do think that immigrants are pretty vital to our workforce. Specifically in Florida, I believe it's 40% of
What was the role as far as the
home health aides and nursing assistants, things like that. So 40% of the healthcare workers in that field.
Can you send me
sorry?
that stuff? Can you send me
Yeah,
that stuff?
of course.
Filipinos dominate the nursing industry, for example. Like,
Yeah.
they're extremely important. Definitely right now when we have a huge shortage of nurses because, they don't like how exactly COVID's going and they're getting fucking
We
overworked.
already have actually, if we want to talk about shortages in workers, healthcare industry is probably the best place to look at that because we have we already had a shortage in healthcare workers prior to the pandemic, and with the pandemic, we've had early retirements as well as other things that have caused us to globally even have a shortage in healthcare workers.
All right, but again, okay, so the economy factor, it's important, but it's just one fraction of why I'm against the immigration. Where are you going to address the little Timmy factor?
Wait.
So
Okay.
Wait. Sorry, look, I bought Stardust thing because Stardust wanted an input. I don't want this to turn into like a 2-on-1 situation, though. Okay. So Dylan,
Yeah.
I just want the Stardust to be able to just say a few things. Okay, Stardust, go on.
I just
One
wanted.
second, I'm just gonna
I
cough.
said what I wanted to
Pivot.
say.
Sorry.
Basically, I'll put some links in the chat.
Wait, can you send it to me privately because I'm gonna lose it if I don't look at it now. Just send it to me.
Okay.
DM it to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently, what we've worked from this discussion, we've started with we should close the border and moved it to we should keep our current immigration system, except for maybe probably hiring more election judges. I would assume you would also believe. That's what we've moved from the start of this conversation to where we are now. Except for, of course, but nobody agrees with this, undocumented immigration, right? Because that's what we do currently. We approve and don't approve work visas based upon economic need. The only difference is, of course, under Trump when he was more anti-immigrant and he didn't approve work visas because he wanted to signal to his base.
Can I ask you a question? Because
Sure.
you said that what did you say about the illegal immigration part, that nobody would agree or something? What was that?
Yeah, like nobody. Okay, the vast majority of people do not agree that illegal immigration is good. Okay.
But what about the open border people? Because isn't Bosch like an open border person?
Okay, so let's also be for real for a second and believe that these.
Wait,
Okay,
I know it's me. Hold on a second.
Gifted a tier 1 sub to go ahead.
Hang up on
They
that.
have given
Okay, so
122
my thing is,
subs in
when
the
it comes to
channel.
open border people, this is super online conversations. It's like when I hear somebody debate neopronouns. I don't honestly care because this is super online stuff, and this is not what I think the actual debate in the public sphere. If you listen to Donald Trump talk about immigration, if you listen to Joe Biden talk about immigration, if you listen to Bernie Sanders talk about immigration, or AOC talk about immigration, none of them, even AOC, okay, none of them are advocating for open borders. None of them. Could you point to me to any mainstream politician that actually wants open borders?
I haven't really been paying attention to what they've been talking about in general, but it seems
Okay,
that a lot of lefties are pushing for that kind of.
When you say a lot, what you mean
And
is
it
a certain section of the online community,
You know
right?
what? I think it was kind of also like I said. I used to be
Do you have
for
any
open
polling
borders.
numbers on it?
I'm gonna literally, I swear to God. But no, I like I said before, my little red pill, I actually was for open borders, and it was almost a reaction to Trump, I think, in a way, because he was pushing for a lot of the close the wall, and I think a lot of lefties in general were kind of going for whatever the opposite of what he was doing was, and I feel like I did that myself.
So,
Go ahead. What?
No, you can go on. You can go on.
No. Go ahead, Dylan.
No, go ahead. Okay, I don't want to speak
No,
over
the
woman.
floor is yours,
Oh,
Dylan.
okay. Yeah, we're changing the. So, the thing is, I can even say on a conceptual level, on a personal level, open borders is not something I'm opposed to, right? Now, IRL, it's not something I'm advocating for. It's not something I'm pushing for because I know that just like in reality, it's just not something we're gonna have happen, right? And so it's not even something I even entertain really, because I believe you
What about
have
the caravans?
what was that?
What about all those caravans we were seeing?
How does that declare if the United States does or does not have open border? What?
Well, I mean, like,
What about them?
like what was the deal with that?
What do you mean? What is the deal? Like, okay, so a caravan. If you need me to explain what a caravan is, a caravan is when a group of people, for any number of reasons, they could be humanitarian reasons, they could be economic reasons, get together and as a collective.
I know what a caravan is. Thank you. I'm asking like
you weren't clear. You
The
said
minivan
what's
made
up
by
with the, you
Dodge.
said what's up with the caravans. I was gonna. It
I'm
sounded like you were
talking,
asking me what a caravan was.
No. Like I'm talking about with the fact that they were coming here. What happened to those people, by the way?
What happened to them? Well, it depends on the specific caravan. Some of them were blocked. Some of them got to come into the United States. I personally believe that they usually, when it comes to caravans, how it should be done is they are given usually refuge in the United States, and they are given time while their case is pending until, and if of course it fails, then they go back. If it succeeds, then they stay in the United States. Yeah.
I missed all that. What'd you say?
I believe that if somebody, and I assume this has to do with, I'm assuming you're asking humanitarian reasons. If somebody comes to the border and says, hey, I want to come in to work job, they're not going to just be able to just come in. So I assume you're talking about, I believe, they're a refugee, that they should be given refuge within the United States, right? As they do it in basically every other country in the world that has actually, like, you know, not fucking asshole leadership, right? And they're given refuge in the United States. And they're able to stay within it until their case is pended. And when their case is done, right, they are either sent back or they get to stay. If they, of course, or like, no, never mind, fuck you, I'm not going to leave, then we send out proper authorities to collect them and send them back.
Why do you think they're coming? I mean, like, what's going on in their countries? Is there anything like you think that we should do to their countries to go there?
Yeah, I think that economic partnerships with countries and possibly even security partnerships, depending on if the country wants it, to deal with, like, you know, gang violence and shit like that, you know, it's reasonable. Investments benefit both of us. If their people are able to buy our products and buy our goods and shit like that, then it helps American businesses, and it would also help deal with the refugee issue. Would also be beneficial to us because then it would mean we wouldn't have to put as much money into like immigration services and border patrol, stuff like that.
Okay. I got like 5 more minutes, you guys, and then I gotta get going. But I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to.
So it feels like we got the economic thing out of the way because Brittany seems to now be an advocate for the status quo when it comes to immigration. Good for them.
You are an advocate for open borders, so.
Okay, great. So now the little Timmy immigration factor. Since we're done with the economic factor,
let's get to the heart of this.
Okay, so what is it about the little Timmy scenario and about this kid getting bullied in school that is so important to you?
Well, I mean, okay, like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory in a way. Like if a white person is going to be in that scenario where now we are the minority, and with all the stuff that is being pumped into the minds of people, with the critical race theory, with all this freaking shit that's been rising up, and with our history of slavery and all this shit, and now the white person, every single minority group seems to have some kind of grievance against white people, and nobody's very sympathetic to the white person when it happens. Like, it's kind of a, oh well, they have it coming type of thing, and I see it a lot in left-wing communities, and I used to have those thoughts as well. So I don't think they're going to get the same protections as minority groups now have, whereas we're trying to almost correct the wrongs of the past, and we are giving them a lot more protection, and it seems like certain minority groups can get away with a lot more than white people can at this point.
Get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to say is my recommendation for the little Timmy scenario would be interacting with real people. And I mean this for the anime. For example, Mio should interact in the IRL world more. Probably leave his room. And I know he doesn't because he has an anime.
I'm not
profile.
Mio though. I'm not Mio though.
Wait. Let me finish, okay? Okay.
Fine.
Mio should because he has an anime profile picture, so I know he doesn't leave his room. Okay.
Oh.
So that's the evidence for that. But
Okay.
the reason why is because I, as somebody who has lived in a county that is a majority black county, and it is even known in our state for being a majority black county, I was not discriminated against, okay, for being white. I was fine, okay? The teachers treated me with respect, and I was fine. There was some tensions during like the racial, during certain riots and stuff over race issues, but for the people who knew me personally, it was fine. Being exposed to people in your community and getting to know them in one-on-one scenarios, that stuff was super, super important for me to not only grow as a person and learn about other cultures and people, but also was important for them to learn about me. And then we chilled and we hang out. One of my best friends who just got back from Afghanistan is a black Muslim man from Egypt who is super cool, super amazing, and we were great friends. And so my solution to the Little Timmy scenario is simply that I think dialogue and conversations and community building, it would be the solution to that. Because in Prince George's County, I am literally Little Timmy, okay? And the reason why I am here and I'm fine and I'm perfectly cool is because I was interactive with my community and we were able to learn about each other.
Can confirm PG County is overwhelmingly non-white.
Oh God, I didn't know where that was coming from. It freaked me out. I thought it was like one of those donation.
The ghost of Little Timmy.
Scared the shit out of me. But isn't this what you debate bros would call like anecdotal evidence?
Okay, you can call it anecdotal evidence, but I would also then say this. White people control the vast majority of wealth in this country. White people control the vast majority of political positions. White people control the vast majority of power. Police, and these are people who enforce laws, are majority white across the United States. If you were to look at all centers of power in the United States, it is majority white. The problem of the idea of white people becoming a minority and then them being victimized in some way, I feel like this is something that's unprecedented in not only American history, but in any history that is a country that is. Wait, let me finish.
That's just wrong, though.
So in American history, there was a time when white people were the minority.
But there's other points in other countries where this has happened.
Okay, where?
South Africa.
So in South Africa, once white people were the majority, then they became the minority. That's what I'm talking about now, because that isn't something that happened in South Africa. They weren't the majority.
It doesn't matter. There was a grievance against white people. Okay,
so the problem is that the culture in South Africa and the history of South Africa is vastly different than the history of the United States. South Africa was never majority white. Its leadership, okay, is still it was majority black when it was before colonization, and then its population was still majority black during colonialist rule. The population of the United States has always been, when we talk about the United States, not as in the native tribes, was always majority white, and it will probably continue to be majority white for another 10 or 20 years. And so you would need to explain to me, and there would be such a cultural shift of people being able to see white people in their communities, being able to communicate with white people in their communities, be able to know white people in their communities, and one thing, be able to take this power back from them, including all the wealth, the institutional power, the cops, all of that, fight, rebel against them, and there would be like some civil war. Like, I need to see some like historical precedent here for what you're describing.
Why don't we put a pin in this and we can talk about the Little Timmy part another day. I have to go. I've been here for like an hour and a half, and I think there's a lot more to get into that, and I don't have the time to do that right now. So thanks for having me on, Chud. Thanks for having a discussion, and I will talk to you guys later. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Brittany.
All the best.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Little Timmy, huh?